Okay, so what we're trying to do here is improve the finish on our wall. And what we're dealing with is we just have a shape we're cutting out. And as we're cutting out this shape, the tool is stepping down in Z, and we're able to see those tool marks in the material. So we want to remove those tool marks, and we're looking at how can we do that. So the first thing we want to do is kind of get back over into our profile here. And, we started out with a shape, so with this shape, we can define the size of it. So let's just make this one actually 6 by 6. All right. And then I'll kind of move it within this cutting area here. Okay. So we have a 6 by 6. We're going a 1/2 inch. It's a through cut, so it's all the way down. Okay. And as far as how we're cutting inside the shape. So this is how we have it set up right now. We're kind of thinking with all these different settings. Actually, let me go to outside the shape. Makes more sense because we're doing an outside cut here, cutting around it. So that looks good. All right. So if we get over here into the simulation side, right, we can see what the tool is going to do and how it's basically stepping down in Z in order to cut the shape out. And usually when you're going to cut around a shape, you might step down in Z so you don't overload the tool or cut too aggressive for the machine. But in this case, we're getting tool marks that we want to remove. So what are some of the steps we can do to do that? Well, when we rough it out, maybe we rough it out, but we don't go all the way through. So we adjust what our depth is to a different number so that it doesn't cut all the way through. Okay, so that's one thing that we can do. Another thing on our cut settings here, we have a depth per pass. Usually there's multiple steps that we're taking to get down to the bottom. So on our roughing, maybe we continue to do that so that we don't overload the tool, but we're going to have to make an adjustment so that we can leave stock on the wall for a finished pass. Okay, so we're stepping down multiple times to get down to the bottom. We have an undesirable finish on the wall. So how do we get a desirable finish on the wall? Well, we want to use the full flute of the cutter when we're on our finished pass. So we're going to rough around our profile, stepping down, leaving some material on the bottom, but we're also going to leave some material on the walls as well. So this way we can come back and do a finish cut. Okay, so if we get back over to our shape here, maybe we make it slightly larger than what we intend, right? So we're just making this slightly larger than what we intend to cut. And what we've accomplished is at this point, we're leaving material on the floor. It's not cutting all the way through, and we're leaving material on the wall. Okay, so we'll go ahead, run this job, let it go ahead and cut all the way around. And then after that, what we'll do is we'll adjust our shape and our settings and then just run a finish pass, okay? This is one of the ways that you can improve the finish of the wall of your part is by cutting through with the full flute length while you're cutting material, okay? So, all right, we ran ahead, we simulated this, we carved it, okay? We get back into here. We're gonna just adjust our numbers so that it's now at our net size that we want to cut at. We want to make sure position-wise the part hasn't moved, so maybe we've drawn it on center to make that a little bit easier. Over here, we're going to push this all the way through, so now we want to cut all the way through. And then on our cut settings, we're going to just make this number, I don't know, at least the depth of cut that we have here, so that way we know it's doing it in one pass. And now when we simulate this, we'll see that the tool will just come down and cut it in one pass to finish on the wall. And really, it's only cutting a little material on the wall and a little material on the floor. So these are some of the tips you can use to improve your wall finish with your cutting strategies. What in the comments below, comment some of the tips that you use and how you finish better on the wall.